Hello everybody. So we're going to talk a bit about servicing and what happens, what needs to happen, and why some jobs never get done on servicing. So let me show you. We've got this Jaguar here, which is just going through the workshop. It's one that I'm actually selling. It's one that came in part exchange. It's due for its service, so we're just going through the motions with it. And it looks as if it's in for a major job if you look at how the interior is all stripped out. But in reality, this is just part of the service. Yes, unbelievable. But to replace the pollen filter, or cabin filter as some people know it, you've got to dismantle half the dashboard. So it's hidden right underneath the dashboard, which is a service item. And we get so many cars coming in where they've never been replaced because it's such a mammoth task, which is just crazy. I mean, some of the manufacturers really ought to have a rethink of where some of the pollen filters should be fitted and access to it. Why should you have to dismantle half the car to fit a service items? But hey ho, that's how cars are designed these days. So many cars come in, pollen filters never been changed, and on this one of course we're doing that as part of the service, and also checking the brakes where we actually take the wheels off. So again, a lot of garages don't actually take the wheels off to check the brakes. They just have a scuttle through the wheel and the back and with the mirrors or whatever, but we prefer to take the wheels off and make sure, number one, the wheels aren't stuck onto the hubs, and secondly, we can make a thorough check of the brakes on both surfaces, because the times where the front surface might look okay but the rear surface is heavily corroded. So on this one we're actually replacing the discs and the pads at the same time because the rear surface is not so good. So let me show you a couple of items we've removed from a car we just had in. It's a 3.5-year-old vehicle with full service history. But again, before I sell the car, I want to make sure the car goes out right. So we're actually doing a service on the vehicle. The service on this car was done about 4 or 5 months ago, 7,000 miles ago. Full stamped up service book, but I wasn't sure what's been done. So I just want to make sure before I sell the car on that everything is right. So as I say, here's what I prepared earlier. So this is the pollen filter out of the car. So as you can see, that's a little bit grubby, dirty, in fact absolutely filthy. Look at that. So that's not been replaced. I don't believe from new probably. What a state. So the benefit of a clean pollen filter, number one, obviously it's the air that you breathe in the vehicle, it keeps it clean. But also if that pollen filter is blocked, the air conditioning won't work as efficiently. So obviously you won't get the cold air coming through properly because it's all part of the recirculation system. So that's another thing. If your air conditioner is not working properly, maybe the pollen filter hasn't been changed, or maybe the air conditioner wants regassing. So there's a couple of possibilities there. So, and also with air conditioning, I mean, people might think, oh, winter's coming up, don't worry about air conditioning, you don't need it. You'd be amazed actually. If the air conditioner is working efficiently, the car will defrost better in winter. So there's a thought for you. So make sure the air conditioner is working. And there's many people who actually in winter decide to not use the air conditioning, switch it off altogether, and they wonder why in the summer it doesn't work. So most cars have got air conditioning these days. So I urge you to actually use it in winter as well. Mine's on all year round, to be honest with you. So I urge you to keep it on all year round, keeps the system working efficiently, and so forth. So here's the air filter. Just look at that. That is just gross. Absolutely filthy. As you can see, again, I don't believe that's probably ever been replaced. So obviously, if that air filter is in that state, the engine needs to breathe, just like we do, to work efficiently. And if it's blocked like that, that's going to restrict the airflow into the engine. The engine won't be working as efficiently, so it'll use more fuel, won't be running as efficient, And in time, these sort of things, if they get blocked up, you start getting engine management lights on, which can cause other long-term issues, which is a separate topic altogether, so I shan't go into that at the moment. But again, that's one of the service items. And also we get many cars coming in for servicing where people do so little mileage and they don't think the car needs a service because they've only done 2,000 miles this year and maybe 1,000 miles the year before that, and obviously especially with the lockdown situation, even less miles. But you've got to remember, if the car's not being used all the time, the oil never gets warmed up properly. If you just go to the shop and back or just nip around the block, the oil's never getting warmed up to its efficiency. So you've got water build up inside it, and obviously in time that starts damaging the engine. So even if you do low mileage, you still should have at least the oil changed on your vehicle. And you know, regardless of if you're just doing a few thousand miles a year, you still need to keep that car maintained. So again, the air filter, the pollen filter, all those will get blocked in time. So it doesn't matter if you only do 2,000 miles a year, the car sitting outside probably, picking up all the elements, all the grime, all the dust. So just make sure all those are done on a service as well. And when we do get customers booking the cars for service, one of the things we always ask them is, what service is it due? Because not all the service books, in fact some of the cars lately don't even have service books, which is another topic as well. One of my pet hates really. Service book should be in every car with every single itemised on there to say, you know, what's been changed. So air filter, oil filter, fuel filter, pollen filter, the Heldex oil lips, four-wheel drive, some of the vehicles, so forth. So it'd be nice to go back to the good old-fashioned service books where you know exactly what's been done every year or what's needed every time or every second year or third year. So always keep a record of what you've had done on the vehicle so you know what's needed. So again, many people don't realise all these items, plus others on some vehicles, need to be changed and replaced. And the other one which also gets, I suppose, not thought about a lot is brake fluid change. Again, many manufacturers recommend the brake fluid should be changed every couple of years. So again, every single car that comes in for a service, we actually check the actual content of water in the brake fluid to make sure it's not being diluted by water contamination. And if it has, obviously we report back to the customers and suggest to have a brake fluid change. And again, we get so many cars here where the brake fluid have been changed and they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and the water content is quite high. And the danger of that is I'll give you a quick example. If you're going down an incline and using brakes quite a lot, because the water content is high compared to the brake fluid itself, it will start to boil up, you get brake fade. That's a quicker version of exactly what would happen. But again, so it's one of those things that needs to be changed in time. And with different cars, as I mentioned, you've got Heldex, which is the four-wheel drive on the Audi and the Volkswagen range, and some of that. I think Volvo's Heldex. There's quite a few manufacturers that use the Heldex four-wheel drive, and some cars, some of the automatics again need the gearbox oil change doing. Some are on age, some are on mileage. A lot of the VW range, 40,000 miles. The DSG gearbox oil needs to be changed. So all these things really to do a proper service, to keep it maintained, to give you long-term trouble-free motoring, have to be done. So when you do book your car in for a service, just bear all these things in mind, and if you're not sure about, we're here to help you, to guide you through what should be done, what shouldn't be done, what to look out for, and things like that. So I hope that helps you on that, on your service items, and how to keep a car maintained and serviced. Any advice, please give us a call. 01782 834 215. Advice is always free. So when you are shopping about and you want to get the best service, remember it's not about price, because the price is only will be doing maybe basic service, and also are they using the correct engine oil, which again is another topic. I mean, I've got so many different and new topics on there. So again, just make sure the car that you get serviced, all the right parts are being used, including the engine oil, which again can of course affect the performance of the car and also how the engine runs long-term wise or causes issues. Hope you find it useful. Any further advice you ever want, as I said, just give us a call on 01782 834 215 or pop in anytime. Happy to help. See you again next time. Have a great day. Keep safe.